You're watching Feign Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hey guys, Nary here from Feign Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Far Beyond the World. So let's go ahead and pick it up, guys. Pick it right back up where we left off. Please sit back and enjoy the video for the next 18 minutes, and let's jump right in. Alarm chain, you're up, and let's go. Alright. From what I understood, Cora's mom died because of them, somehow. Well, Rannick's mom left, apparently hoping for Varric to follow her, but he chose to stay instead. Was she banished? If so, for what possible reason? Surely not because she hanged around a while when Rannick was little. That's not a crime, is it? This is also convoluted, but it gives me more and more reason to hate those abusive pieces of shit. They've been fucking up everyone's life here for generations, it would seem. Not now! I'm angry enough as it is. My bruises, suddenly met with a realization. If Rannick's returning tonight, then this will send him into a frenzy. Fuck! I'll have to come up with some lame-ass excuse cover for those geezers. We have to play it down and play it cool for her to get those... Yeah. And Rannick isn't exactly known for his subtlety. As I entered the village, I walked directly towards the butchery. I passed the onlookers, who still relived the spectacle from the morning, staring at me with utter disbelief. Once at the counter, I poke at it, drawing Vol's attention. We sparred. Rannick cannot know. He looks at me with confusion, but quickly nods, hopefully understanding my meaning. Tryst will come around sundown. Again, Vol nods and I rush off, acutely aware everyone's locking their curious gazes at us. As I walk the last stretch of the road leading to the cottage, I notice the white wolf standing on the side of the pathway. Fuck! He's the last person I need to interact with now. For a moment I consider finding a detour, but it's too late. He approaches me calmly and grabs the handle of my heavy basket. Let me help you. I try to protest, but he persists, tugging at the handle. Considering that further resistance would only cause another scene, I simply let go and allow him to take it from me. Fancy seeing you here. And by that, I mean you look quite fancy in that silk dress. He winks at me mockingly, barely containing a snicker. Rannick treats you well. Instead of an attendant, you almost look like a bride. I choke at that remark and throw him a shocked stare, causing the wolf to laugh. Come now, ruffling your fur is not even a challenge. Was only teasing. I keep my head straight, looking into the distance as if I didn't even hear him. I've heard you had quite an eventful day. You're the talk of the town. He bumps into my shoulder. The only people who ever reached this level of notoriety around here never got to enjoy it for long. Their heads get to be too big for their own good and roll off their shoulders. Is that meant to be a threat? Still silent, I see. I guess Rannick's choice in wards was always a little bit peculiar. In spite of his penetrating stare, I feel more anxious than I should, as if another set of eyes kept drilling into me. I look back and I see the same hooded figure in the distance. I recognize him, and the wolf has been following my every move around the village for the past few days. My heart races and Tano's eyes center on me, clearly picking up on my distress. He wastes no time and locates the cause of my sudden anxiety. No, 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 you're not coming up here. No! Okay, alright, if you stay right there, that's fine. Alright. That's Andalt. And you're right to be afraid. He's a bit of a creep, even by my standards. The white wolf utters in an oddly comforting tone. I'd advise you to stay away from him. And I mean that with complete sincerity. I looked at him with a slightly risen brow. Yes, I know they told you the same about me, but trust me. Andalt was always a little unhinged. And since our shaman passed away, he's been acting out more than usual. Also, he has it out for Verissa, so if I were you, I'd keep my affiliation with her on the down low and have my wits about me. I narrow my eyes, clear distrust painted across my face. It's not a trap, kid. If I wanted to do you harm, I'd already rat you out for speaking our language and faking your injury. I cannot hide my shock at his bluntness. Don't act so surprised. Surely you knew I knew. You're not a good actor. Ugh, your mute performance grows weary. I can see I pretty much exhausted his patience and decide to drop my act. After all, he pretty much called my bluff to my face, and aggravating him further only worsens my situation. What do you want? Tano feigns an exaggerated gasp. It speaks! Sorry, I couldn't help it. He chuckles it off. Stop fucking around, you can get me killed! Relax, if I wanted you killed, you'd be dead already. I want you to stay safe. Our people really don't need another distraction right now. Well, it's too late for that. My safety depended on staying away from you. Look how that worked out. Your secret is safe with me, not on your account, but the tribe's. I pull away from him slightly, not buying into his pretty words. He fooled me once already, and he notices my distrust and sighs. My goals simply differ from Rannick's. That does not make me evil. Maybe, but that does make you an enemy. The White Wolf gazes at me with slight surprise. That's a bit rash, don't you think? I raise my brow. There's a saying, choose your allies wisely and your enemies more careful still. Believe me when I say this, you don't want me as your enemy. Well, you're no ally either, which makes me impartial, and that can be a whole deal more effective in solving your current predicament. He states plainly, but my defiant expression causes him to sigh. A fresh perspective devoid of any emotional biases might prove quite handy. What makes you think they're emotionally invested in me? Ha! Who's trying to be deceitful now? I'm an otherkin, illegally smuggled into your village. Why would you care about me? I don't. He shrugs indifferently. True, it is worrisome that you speak our language, just as curious as your timely appearance here in the first place. But I'm willing to believe you and your amnesia story. Oh, and why is that? Again, you're not a good liar. The White Wolf sighs, splaying his arms in defeat. And as much as I hate to admit it, Rannick is a good judge of character. If he says you're harmless, I'm willing to trust his instincts. Besides, we have bigger problems to deal with, and I really wouldn't like the Howl or the Elders wasting that precious little time we have left on this distraction. He brushes his paw dismissively in my direction. So I'd like us to come to an understanding. You will lay low, much, much lower than you did so far. And in turn, I will make sure that the more perceptive eyes of our tribe are fixed elsewhere. And I'm supposed to trust you? As I said, I already have you in my paws. Sorry. There's no trap here to be sprung. Do you have a habit of rolling in grass? He asks casually, throwing me off. What? There seemed to be another weed stuck in your pin. And I thought I got rid of the last one. I stop in my tracks, looking at him wide-eyed as he tries to reach for my dandelion. I swathe his paw away at the last moment. It was you! I nearly exclaimed, to which he smiles with a sadistic satisfaction. Temper, temper! Someone might take notice. He looks around, causing me to do the same. Although no one's around to pay us any mind, I need to keep my cool. I take a deep breath, locking my hateful gaze into the distance. I cannot look at this fucker right now. Did I upset him? Did it upset him? I bet it did. He utters in a sad tone, but a smirk betrays he's faking it. I want to wipe his smug muzzle. If we weren't in the open, I would... Come now, don't make threats you know you cannot follow through. He laughs me off, and I throw him an angered stare. Don't test me. The White Wolf only nods toward his chiseled torso. Even if he's the smallest of the wolves, I would have no chance with him. I sigh in annoyance, trying to yank the basket free, but his hold remains firm. Now be a good servant. Go in there and make our future chief happy. Don't worry, everything will be fine, as long as you follow our lead. Our lead? Mine and theirs. Whatever crazy scheme Varissa and the gang cooked up to be rid of you, make sure it works. I will hold my peace. But if you fuck up again as you did with me, I will not hesitate to sell you out just to mitigate the damage. He says in a cold tone, and I'm not quite sure what to make of it. I'm just glad to see that we're almost at the cottage. No! No! Stop. Stop. Dummy. He's batting at my mouse cord. Stop it! No! I'm gonna run your ass off. Oh, and one last thing. I suggest you keep our little exchange and its conclusion just between us. Rannick and I are not exactly on speaking terms. He might take it the wrong way and overreact as he usually does. That would not be helpful to either of us. I hope my little demonstration at the feast proved what I mean. I hardly contain my anger at his smugness. No! Stop it. No. You almost blew our cover. Yeah, almost. Luckily, I did so when everyone was at their most distracted and the chief was away, huh? Fuck, he's smart. And evil. Believe me, I had you where I wanted you, and no harm came your way. He winks at me coyly, but I remain unconvinced, looking at him with suspicion. My resolve strengthens by the fact we've finally arrived home. You're smarter than you give yourself credit. You should know by now I'm not a threat. Well, not actively, at least. You know what to do. And by now I have had enough of his bluster and veiled threats. I give him the meanest stink eye I can possibly muster and rush up to the stairs of the porch. I enter the kitchen and slam the doors behind me, slumping against them. Ah, what a prick! He's so full of himself that all I can think of is wiping that self-satisfied smirk from his smug muzzle. Ah! But he's right, I mumble, plopping the basket onto the floor. Rannick tends to overreact, and as much as I don't feel like having secrets, I don't think telling him I spoke with Tano would be a good idea. Not only could it lead to another scene, and I had my fill for a week, it could potentially derail a reunion. As selfish as it sounds, I really need to have some closure with him, and it would be exceedingly hard to talk about our feelings when he's fuming over the white wolf. Fuck! Why everything has to be so complicated? I look around the cottage with resignation, remembering how desperate I was to get out from those four walls. Now all I can think about is barricading myself in here and never coming out. I begin slowly unpacking all my bounty, arranging it neatly onto the table. Once I put away the basket, I work on the fire, getting it nice and hot. I look towards the window, trying to gauge the time of day. It's time past noon, I suppose. From what Verissa said, this probably wouldn't take longer than an hour to prepare, so it might be too early for that. I guess Rannick wouldn't be back until 6 o'clock or so. I have time to kill. Between the idle browsing of Avis's guide, I set up the dried apple slices to soak and brew myself some mint in hot water. There's no tea nor coffee to indulge in, so herbs are the only alternative to water that isn't boozy. The mint helps me calm down a bit, as, despite appearances, an encounter with the elders did rattle me a bit. Not to mention Vol's poor-ass handling of his own emotions. It was curious to see him project his fear into anger. But, curious, but also unsettling. I don't think I could have imagined the male to be scared of anything. I guess scared is the wrong word. He was worried for his friends and himself. Still, as dismissive as I am of those old farts, they have more pull around here than I like to admit. Hopefully this little scuffle will slide by the sideway, but something tells me it's not going to happen. I could use some company to distract myself from worries, but as Verissa said, everyone's preparing to welcome the missing pack. I wish I could help, but I suppose it's better I stay out of sight for a while. The only consolation is the fact I'll attend tonight's feast. That's definitely something I look forward to. As the blue sky outside slowly fades into hues of vibrant pinks and purples, I begin to set up my cooking station. I place a metal grate on top of the frame holding the wood, creating an improvised stove. Following Verissa's instructions, I grab a skillet and melt a dollop of butter. No! 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 No. 1 second, guys. 1 second. Be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back. Kitty was trying to climb onto the top of the computer. Dummy. Alright. Draining the apple slices, I drop them into the pan and fry until they're golden brown. The aroma is very reminiscent of an apple pie, and it instantly lifts up my mood, causing a wide smile on my face. Damn, this smells really good. Once the apples are done and the butter is slightly caramelized, I remove them onto a side plate. Gently, I take the 4 succulent pork fillets and drop them into the pan. They sizzle immediately, releasing pink juices into the butter, and the smell intensifies, shifting slightly from an apple pie towards a sweet barbecue. It starts to make me hungry. I make sure to sear the medallions evenly, including the edges, to trap as much of the juices inside as possible. No one likes dried meat. Okay, what was next? Add back the apples and pour in the broth. I follow the instruction covering the fillets in stock, watching the set with satisfaction as it bubbles. Now a spoon of mustard and some sage. I fish out a generous dollop of the mustard, again enjoying its potent scent. This could go very well with the sausages. I could devour a nice dog. I blink, laughing and shaking my head. Don't say that in front of the wolves, you weirdo. I open the little container with sage, wondering how much would be enough. I guess a generous sprinkling should do the trick. I shrug, peppering the stew with the crushed up herb until that familiar scent of Christmas turkey stuffing fills the house. Now that the dish simmers, I sit back and relax, enjoying the darkening sky outside, accompanied by a smell of absolute culinary delight. Ooh. This wasn't as hard as I imagined. My hand taps impatiently at the table as the minutes go by, and I'm increasingly aware of Rannick's imminent return. God, I'm so impatient. I get up to stir the bubbling sauce, looking how lovely everything has been incorporated. Once I think it's just right, I finally add the cream. I bring a spoonful to my lips and take a curious sip. Damn! This is delicious! A perfect combination of savory and sweet. And the apples and the mustard are balanced so well with the buttery flavor of the cream. No wonder it's one of his favorites. I think it's mine as well. As I revel in my culinary triumph, I hear heavy footsteps approach the doorway and my heart skips a beat. He's here. I try to hold in tears, but my eyes are already glossed. The doors crack open and I see my wolf enter with an excited but slightly surprised expression. Orien? Rannick! I mutter through my trembling lips, still not believing he's really here, safe and unharmed. But unwilling to cause a scene, I muster all my strength and simply say the words I've been wanting to say for a long while. Welcome home. Ah, we can start the new build next video! Sweet! Alright! Awesome! Awesome, awesome, awesome! Alright. Alright guys, that'll about do it for this video. Perfect timing, actually. It's about to go off. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!